For a little while you see me, and then a little while you see me not. Because there's a storm rolling in, and I'm going to have to head back to civilization soon. I think, but I think I got a few minutes. New location, no longer nighttime, we're outside. In a valley between two hills. It's beautiful out here. Love this place, come here a lot. Whenever I can, there's a nice tree that fell down over the creek right there. Run across, it's beautiful. But I didn't get out here only for divine inspiration to come down through the trees. The books that are always behind me, my lovely background that I love so much. I think I love the books too much because I was talking about them too much. I caught myself yapping about the books a little bit, which wasn't the point of the video. But what is the point of the video? No notebook. I didn't bring my notebooks. I didn't want to. But I can conceptualize what was in it, I think. Maybe we'll see. There's bugs too out here, which you love. We're talking about what you ought to do. Doing things you know you shouldn't, but you should. No, you shouldn't, but you should. Doing things you should do, not doing things you should do. There we go, spit it out. Why do we do that? That was the question I was trying to figure out in the book and writing down. I was trying to pull a bunch of different sources in to try to answer that one question. Why don't we do what we should do? And it's obvious, and I have the answer, but just like how you know you should be doing something yet you don't do it, the same how the answer is obvious, but if it affects us or not is up to us. So what is the answer? The answer is path of least resistance, right? With the example of those books that I couldn't stop talking about, so I had to come outside, doom scrolling and reading. You know you should be reading, obviously. What is that noise? But you don't. It's easier to doom scroll. It's easier to, or in the case of reading, to read things that aren't very nutritious for the mind, right? It's easier. It's simply easier to do those things. But how do we, is that like a deer or something? How do we get over that, right? Can I stay focused and not comment on the noises around me for 5 minutes? We'll see about that. I know I should be focusing, but I don't, because it's easier to look towards the noise. Maybe it's better to look towards the noise, besides the point. But how do we do the things we're supposed to do? How do we take the first step, right? There's this it's a play. I haven't heard the play, but I heard this quote from the play from Bishop Fulton Sheen. Lovely, lovely speaker. And in the play, it is, what's her name? The King of England is talking to Joan of Arc, Saint Joan of Arc. There we go. And he was asking her, why does she hear the voices and not him? Why not me? I'm the king. And she said, you do hear the voices. The voices do speak to you. But you don't sit in the evening. You don't listen to the wind blow in the trees. So you can't hear the voices. There's this, always ever-present idea of the still small voice in Christian thinking. And it is a small voice. Your consciousness is a small voice for 2 reasons. One is the universal, the ever-present reason is that humanity and the truth is always trying to be trampled on. It's always trying to be subjugated. It's not trying to, but things are trying to crush it. It is the ever-present tension, and I know we're getting metaphysical, it's the tension between body and soul. The body goes one way and the soul goes the other, so there's a tension there naturally. So that is the constant reason. Out of all of humanity, that has been the reason for why we don't necessarily do what we always should do. To bring it to books, Boromir, I think I'm saying that right, his struggle with the ring. He was a good man, he was an honest man, but he was an Aragorn. And he struggled, obviously, with the temptation. I hope that's not rain. But we see that in our own lives. And I'll get to the second reason, because I can already see myself getting off track talking about books. The second reason, the more modern-ish reason, is ever since modernization has started, it's been a reason that's ever been getting more. And now we're in the postmodern phase, and it's really, really bad now. The noise. Same thing with that king. He couldn't hear it because he was always surrounded by feasting and noise and people affirming what he thought was right. Nowadays, I mean, there's constant noise. The noise never ends. I'm currently ruining the peace by this lovely valley by spitting out random noise. But maybe it's for a good cause. Who knows? We'll see. So what is the answer? How do we fix it? Again, we know the answer. You've already understood the answer in me just saying it there by saying the noise. Well, you need to quiet. You need to get quiet. You need to quiet all the things trying to get inside your head. That sounds a little schizophrenic, but you get what I mean. So you can hear the voice of truth and of reason and of your consciousness urging you to do what is right and not what is necessarily popular or what's necessarily the spirit of the age. You get what I mean? Real metaphysical. I'm hanging out with these trees too much. But you know that, along with all the other things. But it's slightly difficult. But how do we ease the path of resistance? How do we make the hard easy? How do we make the things of which we want to not do into things of which we want to do? Well, to some degree that's impossible. Things that are hard, and of course we already know things that are hard are worth doing. If it was easy, everyone would be doing it, right? If it was easy to read really, really good books, everyone would be doing it. Everyone would be walking around smart and well educated, but clearly they're not. Have you ever been to, we're not going to get into that. I hate Target so much, but that's besides the point. It's hell in there. Again, besides the point. But again, the path of least resistance. How do we get around it? Again, I said that twice. By quieting the voices. Not in the schizophrenic sense, but quieting the various things that which try to distract you. And by just slowing down. Again, last time we were talking about the slow times. Slow times are going to be imposed upon you sometimes. The all things in seasons, right? It's summer right now, if you could tell by the bugs and the greenery all around me. And summer is a time for moving, a lot of people think. I don't think so. Summer's hell. I don't like summer. But then winter and autumn are times for gathering together. There's a wonderful folk song about that. There's a time for love and laughter when times are young, and so are we. But there's times for these things. But this slowness that I'm talking about, the calming down, is not, that was a weird bird, not a season, it's a mindset. It's a tool that we pick up and carry with us. It is a cloak you put around yourself that you can walk through all weather with. So what am I getting at? What is the point of this? And of course, I'm just saying again, there's this ancient idea of truth, as truth is things remembered, which we've thrown away with, that we think that truth needs to be go out and grabbed and taked and mine, I need to go out and take the truth. Maybe that's a good way of looking at it for some things, especially when truth is being forcefully hidden from you. But these truths that I'm talking about, these deeper truths, these mythical, if you'll have it that way, truths, are to be remembered. There's things that we knew, if not within ourselves, but I mean humanity knew, that we've forgotten, that need to be remembered. And you can live by not knowing them, but it is a life that is simply, you're as alive as a person that can fog a mirror. Do you understand my meaning? You're living, but you're not living. So I'm basically saying what's always been said. But again, remember, you know you need to slow down. You know you need to read something worth reading. And finding things worth reading is a separate thing, and that's for people that suggest books to do. And I'm not that guy. There's no books, as you can tell. I've removed the books. But do what you know you ought to do. This is not me condemning you. Do what you need to do, but I mean, remember. Hey, remember what you need to do. Remember that thing. Your consciousness, and we're going to cut it off. We're going to just a little bit. I don't like long videos. When there's this constant noise around you, when there's ads and people talking to you and just nonsense all the time, your consciousness must scream at you, scream, and do this, do that. It's harsh. And maybe you can get very spiritual and be like, well, some of that isn't you, but to some extent it is. If in a loud environment, you must be loud. But if you quiet down, if you limit the noise, the artificial noise, everything's artificial meat, artificial intelligence. I don't like any of it. If you get rid of the artificial and only cultivate the natural, remember that you ought to cultivate the natural. Your consciousness sometimes will, but it'll be a lot less of the screaming, do this, and more of a, hey, remember that book you wanted to read. Remember, it'll be more like a conversation with a friend. Hey, remember when you were a kid and you wanted to do this? Why don't you go and do that? Hey, remember when you were a kid and you couldn't drive? You couldn't drive to the mountains even though you wanted to go and you just wanted to walk around by yourself. Remember, you can do that now. So it's hard to remember when there's noise. So I guess what I'm trying to say is two things at once. Slow down. And then remember you need to slow down. We'll get one more point. I swear I'm going to cut it off. We're in the woods. I like walking in the woods. There's this walking style, and there's a bunch of different names called fox walking or Indian walking or whatever. And it just helps you to walk quietly in the woods with no shoes on. I don't have any shoes on, which I'm not going to give proof of that. You're going to have to trust me on that. Because I just like it. And there's this saying, if you think you're walking too slow, and this is with regards to when you're trying to see animals, when you're trying to sneak up on a deer, which is something I love doing. Deers are cool. If you think you're going slow, go slower. Remember, you need to go slower. So when I'm walking, I'm like, oh, remember, you got to go slow. I'm going too slow. Hey, go slower. And the quietness of it helps me not to be like, hey, slow down. It's more of a, hey, remember, you got to slow down. But hey, this is getting a little lengthy, 12 minutes. I don't like that. Eventually I'll get the uhs and the you know what I'm talking about. I'll cut those out and we'll get nice 8-minute videos. And they won't be so demanding. But I think the rain's about to fall. Slow down. Remember, you got to slow down. But hey, take it for what you will.